So, the first question we're looking at is a question here about Adam and Ben running round a field. Adam is running in this straight line here across the diagonal of the field. Ben is running up the side and then along the top. First question you've got to answer is how far does Ben run? Ben runs up here, which is 200 metres, then along here, which is 320 metres. Add those together, you get 320 metres. That's the 200 and the 120 added together. Part B, how far does Adam run, is the distance here. You need to work on this triangle. And what I suggest you do in every question like this is sketch out the triangle you're dealing with.
In pencil.
Doesn't matter whether it's pen or in pencil. And you're trying to find this distance here. So, it's either going to be Pythagoras or it's going to be trigonometry. Is everybody paying attention, please? So, it's either going to be Pythagoras or trigonometry. There are no angles involved in this triangle apart from the right angle. That means it's Pythagoras. So, we start with the biggest number and we do 200 squared. The other number, we also square that one to get 200 squared. We are finding the longest side, the hypotenuse. Jack, if we're finding the longest side, is it going to be an adding or a taking? An adding, that's right. Add those two numbers together. If you add those two numbers together, you get 54,400. Jack, what's the final step to get the answer to this one?
Square root 50,000.
You do, that's right. And you get 233.24 if you do it to the nearest centimetre. If you've got 233 or 233 point something, that will be fine for that question. Final part, how much further does Ben run than Adam? Ben ran this distance, Adam ran that one. Just do a taking away between them and you get 86.76. Well, if you've done it to the nearest metre and you've got 87, that's fine. So, can 1 mark for each of those, 3 marks for that question. Right, next question. We've got a guy rope attached to a pole and a peg, so probably supporting a tent. We've got a number here, we've got a height, that's 1.5 metres. We've got a distance along the bottom, that's 2 metres, and we've got to find this length here. What I would recommend in any of these questions again is just sketching out a triangle just with what you know and what you need. So right angled triangle, you know that's 1.5, you know that's 2. This is what you're trying to find along here. There are no angles involved apart from the right angle. It's not going to be trigonometry, it's going to be Pythagoras. Start with the longest side, you need to do 2 squared. The other side, 1.5 squared. Then you've got to decide whether you're adding up or taking away. Here we're finding the longest side, the hypotenuse, we add up. If you add those up, you get 6.25. And the final step is square rooting. And when you square root 6.25, you get 2.5. And there are 2 marks for that question. In this question, you're not given a drawing, so that's the first thing you need to do. We've got a pole 3 metres high. Let's have a line there 3 metres high. And a rope of 10 metres is stretched from the top of the pole to the ground. So we have the ground along here. I've got 10 metres there, 3 metres there. That will be a right angle. How far is the end of the line from the base of the pole? There's the base of the pole. Here's the end of the line. I'm trying to find that distance. So, no angles are involved apart from the right angle. Not trigonometry, it's going to be Pythagoras. Just like last time, I need to do 10 squared and I need to do 3 squared. 10 squared is 100, 3 squared is 9. I've got to decide whether I'm finding a long side or a short side. Okay? The long side is this one here, the hypotenuse. So I'm given that one. I'm finding a short side, I need to do a taking away. Do the taking away, that will give me 91, and when I square root the 91, that will then give me 9.5. 9.5 is the answer to that question. First question here, you've got to find the distance x. There are 2 triangles stuck together. One triangle is this one here, and we'll start with that one because we already know 2 numbers, 2 measurements on that triangle, the 8 and the 6. And we first of all need to find out this side here, which is this side. There are no angles involved apart from the right angle. It's going to be Pythagoras. So I need to do 8 squared and I need to do 6 squared. That's 64 and 36. James, am I going to be adding or taking away in this question?
Adding.
Adding, because I'm finding the longest side. Add those together, you get 100. When you square root the 100, you get 10. I now know that that side there is 10, which means on this diagram, that is 10. So now I can work on this triangle, the other triangle I've got there. It doesn't have to be an accurate drawing or anything you've got, but it's got a right angle. I've got x, 7, and 10. The 10 is the longest side. The x is one of the shorter sides. Again, there are no other angles, it's Pythagoras. So I need to do 10 squared, and I need to do 7 squared. That's 100, and that's 49. Joe, am I finding a long side or a short side in this question? Good, short side, so I take away. Take away, I get 51. I then need a square root to get my final answer. Final answer to that one is 7.1. There are 3 marks for that question. If you have got this 10, that's worth 1 method mark. If you've had a go at the second one here, using Pythagoras, that's worth the 2nd method mark, even if you've gone wrong. Right, it's 3 marks altogether. In a minute, please, just going to do the next one, and then I'm going to stop the recording. First one here. 2 triangles. The triangle we know 2 measurements about is this one here. So we're going to sketch this triangle out first of all. The 4, the 5, the right angle. This is the mystery side over here. Luke, what do I do to find this mystery side?
5 squared and 4 squared.
Yep. Do I add or do I take?
Add.
Because I'm finding the longest side. That's correct. When you do that, you get 41. What do I have to do next, Luke?
Square root.
Square root 41. Good. And when you square root the 41, you get 6.4. So I know this is 6.4, and that goes on that line there. So now I can look at this triangle, the second triangle I've got, the triangle with the x on it. So I've got 3, I've got 6.4, and I've got x. So here it is, the second one I've drawn out. Liam, what do I do for this triangle?
3 squared.
Yep, okay. I square those two, it's a Pythagoras question. Do I add or do I take? It's correct, because I'm finding the longest side. Add those together. When you do that, you get 50. And the final step, Liam? Square root. That one also comes out to be 7.1.